Postcards from the Wedge is a pretty interesting Simpsons episode, not just because the title reminds me of Carrie Fisher and her Postcards from the Edge. This is the 14th episode of the 21st season of The Simpsons, directed by Kirkland and Mike B. Anderson. And this one focuses on the fact that children need discipline to feel the love of their parents. And without discipline, children think their parents don't care, and it might have disastrous consequences. Bart has fallen behind on his homework. Krabappel writes a letter to home, and Marge and Homer have opposite ways of disciplining Bart. And interestingly, for me at least, I found that their two approaches were the opposite of what I thought each character would do, and perhaps the opposite of what the characters would ordinarily do. But at the same time, I do understand the motivations for why Marge and Homer responded in the way that they did. And they decide that it's putting a wedge between them. It's ruining their marriage. Bart is basically destroying their family dynamic because he's causing them both a lot of stress and a lot of disagreements about how to parent him. So they both decide they're not going to let Bart bother them. And it's not so much that they're going to stop disciplining him, but they're going to just let him get on with things. And Bart might think that that's fantastic because if nobody's disciplining him, he can do what he wants. But he realizes that actually, if he does something wrong and he doesn't feel their discipline, there's an emptiness in him. And it addresses this concept. It's a child psychology 101 basically, but in a nutshell, it's generally believed that children act out not necessarily for attention as such, but it's to receive discipline so that they receive confirmation that they are loved. This is certainly more so in children with troubled backgrounds where they've maybe been neglected or not shown love. That's not the case with Bart, of course, but there are a lot of children and a lot of case studies where children have really terrible behavior, and they do it, well, probably for numerous reasons, but partly because if somebody then disciplines them, they're being disciplined because the person disciplining them doesn't want them to get into trouble, doesn't want them to get hurt, and it shows that they are loved, that they are actually cared for. And when Marge and Homer take a step back, that's missing from Bart. Nelson makes it seem more like Bart just felt he wasn't pranking properly, but I think it's pretty obvious that Bart needed that discipline to show that his parents loved him and cared about him, and it's such a fascinating thing, and I think it's done very well. And his ultimate prank, I won't say what it is, but I really enjoyed how that was animated. The underground scenes were dingy and rusty and pretty brilliant, and I really liked it. So this is a really good episode. We also have a very brief House parody with Itchy and Scratchy. It is Mouse rather than House, and I liked it a lot. Definitely a really good episode. 7.0 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a pretty good rating for the last few seasons. Postcards from the Wedge is one I would definitely be happy to watch again.